Hello, my name is Miranda, and today I'm here to review the new book, Birds of California by Katie Cotugno. Cotugno. Sure? Cotugno? I don't know. It's by the author who wrote 99 Days and a bunch of other YA books that I haven't read. I first saw this book on Instagram a little bit ago, right before it came out, and I really wasn't planning on picking it up anytime soon just because there's so many books that I have to read. I have so many out from the library right now, and just so many that have been on my TBR pile for a while. But you know how it goes. You have a TBR pile, and do you end up reading books from that, or do you find new books to read instead? You find new books. So like I said, I honestly wasn't planning on picking this one up anytime soon, but then I went to Barnes & Noble's with my friend, and this really sweet employee, she looked so nervous. I'm like, I just relate to that so much, of like the anxiety of talking to people. So me and my friend looking at the romance table and talking about like a bunch of different romance books that we had read and picking different ones up, and she came over and recommended this book to us. It is, I guess, like their pick of the month at Barnes & Noble's. I don't know if that's for May or June, but it's their pick of the month. And there was also a buy one get one 50% off sale going on, and I had just been talking to my friend earlier on the way to the store about how I was thinking about reading Dracula, since like everyone's reading Dracula now and it's like such a thing, and I'm like really want to read it because it sounds super funny and like not at all what I thought it would be like. So she found a really pretty copy of Dracula for me that was really cheap, so I figured I'll get this, and then I have a 50% off, so I'll get Dracula, and it kind of was all just very serendipitous, right? So I really didn't know too much anything about this book, since I had just seen the cover and was like, yep, I'll pick that up someday. But getting in the car, I was actually surprised. I was looking at the reviews and it had a pretty good review on Goodreads, but I don't know why Goodreads, like, I swear they put like the bad reviews first, so it was like a lot of people saying it's not a romantic comedy and stuff like that, so I was a little bit worried. Like, I was like, oh, did I make a mistake in picking this book up? And for about like the 100 pages of reading this book, I was like waiting for the other shoe to drop, because I really liked it from the first page. And I do think it's a romantic comedy. I see where people don't, but I'm in the camp, I think it depends on your definition of romantic comedy, and to me, a romantic comedy can still have heavy topics, you know? Like, I don't think that makes it a drama necessarily, and there were so many laugh-out-loud moments in this book. I think the characters of Fiona and Sam, the main characters, were very funny. Fiona's sister Claudia was really funny. They had a neighbor, Estelle, who was really funny, so like there were a lot of moments, I think, that were very funny, and to me, it is a romantic comedy. So if you're worried about that, maybe we have different definitions, but I was kind of surprised that a lot of people said that, because it is really funny to me, and it reads like a romance. So the main thing with this book that I want to get right out of the way is and it says on the back, set in a post-Me Too Hollywood. So the main characters that are the point of views are Fiona and Sam, who when they were younger used to star on a show together as brother and sister, and now they're thinking of doing a revival of the show, and Fiona wants nothing to do with it, so Sam is trying to convince her to come on board because his career is floundering and he really needs the paycheck. There is a thing with Fiona where she really doesn't want to do this reboot, and a main reason is because she says multiple times that she hates the creator who also starred as the dad on the show. And what happened when the show ended, why it was canceled, was that Fiona kind of had a breakdown and was doing a lot of stuff in the tabloids that was getting her negative publicity, and eventually the network was like, it's not worth it. Her show was canceled, and then she ended up going to a treatment center for a while to get help. And coupled with that and her hatred for Jamie, and then also knowing that this is, it says on the back, set in a post-Me Too Hollywood, you can kind of figure out pretty easily what exactly went down that led to her having this breakdown of sorts. So that's technically kept on the down low for the majority of the book. Sam is in the dark about it. A lot of people are in the dark about it, and Fiona doesn't ever explicitly say what it is until the end, but it's pretty obvious when you put two and two together to figure out what exactly happened. So I do think that's important to get out of the way, so you know if that's a sensitive topic for you in the book. It's not brought up a lot, like I said, but it definitely is there, and Fiona herself suffers from PTSD and admits that. There is, again, which I thought strange because this happened with another book I had read last year, I believe, that dealt with a similar topic. There's no trigger warning or content warning in the back, which I think should be kind of a standard, especially for books like these. Like, I look at when I read I Kiss Charles Wheeler, and that had so many content warnings for everything. To not have something, again, it's not like you see anything and nothing's really explicitly said, but it is just, even the thought of it could really trigger some people, so I don't understand why there's not a content warning. And then also, and this is the thing that really irks me, like this is just a personal thing, I don't understand books that have sensitive issues like this and then don't put resources at the end, you know, because you might think that you can handle it, or you might not read this book not even realizing like it'll bring stuff up. And I just really think if you're going to have a sensitive issue like that, you should really have a content warning and then also resources in the back for people to go to afterwards. So those are my main critiques of it, just thinking that it just needs a little more delicateness handled with it. But again, that might be a publisher thing. That might be, I don't know who exactly was in charge of that. But the novel, like I said, is about Fiona and Sam is trying to convince Fiona to do this reboot that she really has no interest in. And I really like this book. Like I said, I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop because the things I was reading on Goodreads was like not good, annoying, like not great characters, and I really love the characters. The book is short. It's less than 300 pages. However, I think that was kind of the perfect time frame of it. I do kind of wish it had a little more of an epilogue, but that's just because I'm a sucker for epilogues, so I would have liked if there was maybe 50 more pages, but I really needed just a quick summer read, and I think this really worked well as that, and I think the story that it told could, you know, they told it. Like, it wasn't like anything was cut out or anything like that, or anything was rushed. I feel like it truly was just telling the story in the best way too, and that was under 300 pages. So Fiona, I love Fiona, guys. Like, I feel like Fiona is probably very abrasive, and like maybe some people won't like her, but Fiona is a girl after my own heart. I feel like just the anxiety and the PTSD and all that is just like someone you can see, you know, where she's struggling and where she's really trying to do better. She's super funny. She's got like a really sarcastic sense of humor, and I think her and Sam, like their banter and their dialogue plays off really well with each other, and I think that's how you can see how well they're suited for each other. They haven't talked in years since the show ended when he comes to talk to her about the revival, and I do think Sam, he did some things that I'm like, but the thing is, overall, I don't think he's an asshole. You know, that's the thing with some characters, especially male characters. They do stuff and you're like, you're an asshole, and like you never learn from this. And I feel like Sam genuinely is a good guy overall, and like makes some stupid moves, and only a couple of them really, but I feel like he learns from them and admits his mistakes and flaws, and I really liked that. And I did like their relationship. I think it was very mutual, which was nice, and it was very communication based. There is obviously this kind of aspect to it of he's trying to convince her to do the reboot and all that, but it's such a small part of it, and he kind of agrees early on that like he just wants to spend time with her, and he's like, if you come out with me, like I won't mention the reboot anymore and stuff like that, and he really does stick to his word on that. So I think that was really sweet, and I really liked each of them individually. Fiona I loved, but Sam I also really liked too, but Fiona's just like, you know, when you have a soft spot for certain characters, like I just loved her. I think she's so funny, and her whole journey was really reminiscent. I would think if you like there have been a lot of videos I've been watching recently going back about how women have been treated badly in Hollywood. Kind of like going back so far as like Judy Garland. There's like a video I love that I'll put a link to it down below in the description, a YouTube video about how these women are worked to the bone or abused, harassed, assaulted, and then when they react to it because they're like, I can't handle this anymore, and they start acting out, then they're labeled as hard to work with, lazy, like, you know, and then they lose their career. And that's kind of what happened to Fiona. Was she went through this terrible thing, and then her way of acting out and rebelling against it branded her as like this untouchable, like dropped her from Hollywood. So she really has no interest in like the Hollywood scene anymore. Sam is very much still in love with it, and that's kind of their main, you know, conflict is for the majority of the book. He doesn't get why she's so against this, and I'm not saying it's right for him to be like, no, you should still do it. Like, he should respect her being like, I don't want to do it from the get-go, but it's also, that's like what you have to remember, is he doesn't know exactly why she is so against this, and I think that's what helps you feel like Sam's not an asshole, because you're like, okay, he's not like full on being like, no, you should do it anyway, like, I need the money, like, blah, 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 and he's not super pushing her. Like, he does some stupid things that you're like, can you just speak up for a second, and things like that, but knowing that he doesn't have the whole picture, I think makes him a lot more understandable and likable, and I just think their relationship in general is very cute. It's cute because they're both two people that, like, don't want a relationship, and like very much are like, wait, why am I feeling this way about you? Like, why am I catching feelings right now? And I think that's really sweet and cute to see. And Fiona herself was just like, that's what a strong character is. Like, I know we always read strong female characters that are like, they shoot stuff and they're so strong and they never cry, blah blah blah. Like, no, this is what Fiona is, an example of what like I want as a strong female character, right? Of like, she's got her moments, but like, you know, she has persevered through a lot, and it doesn't mean that she can't be emotional, she can't communicate, but it means that she knows how to do it in a healthy way and how to be true to herself. And I just really, really loved it. It's really awesome when those books that like you don't know you're gonna love so much turn out to be the ones that you really love, because this is definitely one of my new favorite romances and one of my favorite reads of the year. I am so super happy that that really nice Barnes & Noble's employee recommended it to me, because I definitely wouldn't have picked it up as soon as I did if they had not. And I know, like, from personal experience of recommending books, like how nerve-wracking it can be, and she looks so nervous, so I'm just like, I wish I could go back and be like, I ended up loving that book, but I was on vacation, so chances of me seeing that Barnes & Noble's again for a while is not gonna happen. But if I see her, I'm definitely gonna tell her, because I love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you're thinking about checking it out, check it out. It's a really cute romance read. Like I said, I never read any of her other YA books, so I don't know how it compares exactly to that, but I thought it was really, really cute and sweet, and I loved the characters. Fiona in particular, like I said, is a woman after my own heart. I love her so much. So yeah, definitely one of my new favorite reads. Let me know if you have checked it out. I definitely need to talk about this and fangirl about this with anyone and everyone who also loved it. So yeah, leave your thoughts about it down in the comments, or if you're interested in reading it and what you think about it, you know, just let me know. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!